Hello, good evening, everybody. This is Rhyana from Plan Wholesome Empowerment Group, and I am going to be joined today by Nicola Gordon. Say hi, Nicola.
Hey guys.
So, Nicola is from Elemental Gifts. So, she's going to be with us today to talk all about essential oils, their benefits, the different ways you can use them, and some of the workshops that she's been doing. So, I'm going to give the platform to Nicola to just give a bit of an introduction to herself as well, because she's the best person to know who she is. Go ahead, Nicola.
Thank you. My name's Nikki, Nicola Gordon, and I'm a co-founder of Elemental Gifts. And this platform is basically where I teach families how to use pure grade essential oils for their emotional and physical development. And we do that in a range of ways, like online classes and workshops and, all things good. Anything to do with educating the entire family. That's what Elemental Gifts is about.
Yes, yes, yes. So we are actually joined by Nicola today because, first of all, we did do an Instagram live, but unfortunately, Instagram decided to shut us down. So she so kindly, so kindly accepted to do a pre-recorded version. So this is our pre-recorded version, just in case you want to know. And if you managed to catch the live, you know that it was a powerful interview. That's why we needed to do it again, because we needed you all to see it, and we needed everyone to hear all about Elemental Gifts, all the fabulous things they're doing, and also how they're supporting the Power of Seven Ultimate Wellness Guide. So the reason why I've asked Nicola to come on is because I've also developed a product and service that can support you during some testing times. So it's called the Power of Seven Ultimate Wellness Guide, and it's basically a go-to self-care toolkit, a simple plan to help you develop a toolkit to develop your well-being and self-care regimes. Now, one aspect of it that was necessary to put in was the use and benefits of essential oils. And this is what Nicola is going to delve deep, because she's an expert. I'm not an expert, she is. So we're going to delve deep about the different types of essential oils. So Nicola, I know you sent me some PDFs recently about the Doterra essential oil. So first of all, tell me a bit about that and how you got into essential oils business in the first place.
Right, so I've always used essential oils. I'm sure everybody's familiar with like the little ceramic dish and with the
Mm-hmm.
candle and so forth. And I've always used them in my bedroom when I used to live at home with my parents. And I've always used them like in my hair care and my skin care and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a mum of two. My eldest is 6 and my baby girl, she'll be 2 soon.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time when my son was 2, he had an issue like chronic constipation. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody had given me a small sample to help him alleviate his symptoms, and they worked. They were absolutely powerful. They just worked straight away. I didn't have any any problems with them. I didn't have to use them for over and over again to actually see the results. And we got immediate results, and I'm like that anyway. I'm sort of like results led,
Yeah.
and I was really blown away by how powerful they were. They're absolutely potent. And then I got to learn about the education of these brand of oils, Doterra Essential oils. I got to
Mm-hmm.
learn that they were 100% pure, and
Mm.
then you could actually take them internally. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd never, normally, as we know about essential oils, you cannot ingest them,
Yeah.
and they're only really for aromatic use or topical use. But these,
Yeah.
when they said they come onto the food grade category, and you can actually take them internally for your physical development, I was sold. I was sold. They're absolutely gorgeous. Whereas
Yeah.
with other essential oils, you probably have to use like 20 drops to get like strength out of it. With
Yeah.
doTERRA, you only need like 1 or 2 drops at the most.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, so that's what got me hooked on doTERRA essential oils. I started I tried to find some other oils that sort of that mirrored doTERRA, and I couldn't find any. I couldn't find
Yeah.
any at all. And whilst I was on maternity leave, my son, he was due to go. He was starting school. It was his first year of starting school. At the same time, my daughter was probably about 3 months old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed something natural that I could use in and around the house
Mm.
that was going to protect my son whilst he was going to be in a new environment, but then also my daughter, who was only 3 months old. something that would protect her and build both of their immune systems in a natural way.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to start the business with Elemental Gifts. And we have another platform, House of Lights,
Yeah.
which is where we use alternative but complementary therapies, such as like numerology and Reiki, crystal healing, and so forth. And the essential oil fitted in perfectly under that category of alternative therapies.
Absolutely.
And and here we are. So Elemental Gift sits under the umbrella of House of Light.
Yes, lovely, lovely. And particularly what you just mentioned about the healing elements, I think that's so important, particularly right now where I know we discussed this on the live, there are a lot of people experiencing some health complications, or they are looking to just improve their diet in a more holistic and natural way. So some of like the health benefits that you can get when investing, for example, like trying to incorporate it maybe into a diet.
Well, the great thing about the essential oils is that you're actually getting the life force of the plant. So let's say a mint or whatever. You're actually getting the life force, the immune system of the plant, and it's being bottled. And that's why they're so potent. So whereas normally if we were to break chop a herb and cut it and then it dries out, it starts to lose its potency the minute you pluck it or you pick it. Whereas with the oil, you're keeping 100% of that, and the way that they're harvested and the way that they are being distilled, they're not being heated in any way. And Doterra are very careful in terms of how they harvest and look after their crops. So there's no pesticide residue, there's no herbicides, no chemicals whatsoever. So when they are them being bottled, you're getting 100% of the life of that plant. So therefore, when you take them internally, we're natural beings. We're natural beings. So when we take whole foods, whether it be, fruit or veg or whatever it may be, our body recognizes it. Our body recognizes it as one and absorbs it as is. So it doesn't have to take time to wonder if it should be in the system or if it shouldn't be. Once we've ingested it and the body recognizes it, that's it. It's absorbed, and that's the wonders of the essential oils as well. And there's so many. I mean, Doterra have over 100 essential oils in their category, and they all do something different. Whether it's for, like I said before, whether it's for emotional development or whether it's for their physical, each oil does. Each oil, it's so layered. It's so multifaceted that it's fabulous. So
Yes. I can see how passionate you are about them, and you've even converted me. Like I was looking at the booklet and I was like, okay, I need to look at what ones I could maybe get in a bulk buy or something like that. In all honesty, it makes me think, like, particularly how we was talking about the different ways you can take essential oils. That really had me thinking, because one of the main ways that I've used personally is through my diffuser. And I know we had a conversation about oil burners and diffusers. So tell us a little bit more about that aspect of it as well, because I think that's really important for people to know.
Okay, so most of us are really commonly familiar with the old-fashioned candle diffuser, where you put the oil at the top and the candles at the bottom, and it heats it, and then it all sends the aroma around. However, that is the most dangerous and most toxic way that we are actually using the oils, especially with some of the oils that we get on the high street. Now, the oils on the high street, they would say quite clearly on the bottle not to ingest. And that's because of the chemicals that are blended in with them, other fillers, other perfumes, other things that are in them to stretch and bulk out that bottle or the product. And when you're diffusing that, you're getting in all those toxins anyway. And then it would say not to ingest, and then we commonly use it on our skin also. However, our skin is the largest organ on the body. So when you are rubbing it on your skin, it's being absorbed anyway. You don't necessarily have to take it in orally, but it's going to go through our, through to our skin and into our organs anyway. So it does then make you start thinking about the things that we are using, not necessarily just the oils, but things that we may be using in and around our home, and the products that we may use on a daily basis without even really realizing the impact, the health impact that they have. So I thought I'd just put that out there first. But the best way to use essential oils are in an ultrasound diffuser. And it basically is just a small vibration, a very slight vibration, and it vibrates the water. So you mix the essential oil with so you put some water in with a couple drops of essential oil, and
Yeah.
then there's like a small disc at the bottom of the diffuser which vibrates, which then that's where it then turns the water into steam, and then obviously all the aromatic compounds of the essential oil are then dispersed throughout the air, and that way everybody benefits.
Yeah.
So you've got oils that are cleansing, that reduce the mold within the air, especially at this time because it's hay fever season. It takes,
you can
like
hear
the
me
allergens, the
sniffling.
pollen. Yeah, everybody's suffering. Everybody's suffering.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe because we've been all sort of like locked
Cooped
in
up in the
for
house.
longer
It's
than
true.
normally, when
It's
now
true.
when we go out, we're not really used to what's sort of floating around our
Yeah.
airspace.
Yeah.
But yeah, the diffuser is the best way to use them. And I'm also a teacher. I teach children from the age of 11 to 16 in a pupil referral unit.
Yeah.
And that is where children are excluded from mainstream school.
Yeah.
And they could be excluded or maybe with us for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are diagnosed with ADHD or autism or mild mental health. We have an array of different cohorts of children who have different needs. And I use my diffuser and I use my oils with my students as well. And I found that with having the diffuser on in my classroom, not only does it keep our health and boost our immune system, depending on the combination of oils that I use, but especially if I'm doing like a one-to-one, it really helps in terms of their emotional stability. It gets them in a place of where then they are able to get them in a calm place.
Yeah.
So then they're able to express maybe their thoughts and feelings and do it in a calm manner instead of sometimes in a violent and frustrated way. So, yeah.
And that was also
very, very
something we
useful.
spoke up. Yeah, we spoke a bit about that last time as well. And I think particularly where there are heightened emotions, you mentioned about people being cooped up in the house during this lockdown time. This is part of the reason why I created the Power of Seven, is because there are so many people in the brink of this so-called temporary change, that they are needing some form of tool to help them with an ongoing self-care regime. So particularly with the essential oils aspect of it, tell us a bit about the mood stabilities or alleviators that are most common when it comes to the differences of the fragrance oils that you use in classes or at home personally.
Yeah, so they are with the citrus oils are the best ones because citrus oils are naturally mood lifters. They're natural mood lifters. They're natural mood elevators. So we're talking like lemons, your limes, your wild orange, your bergamot, which is one of my favorites. And there's a new one called lemon eucalyptus. Well, they're natural mood lifters.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily get like a turnaround, but it does help to reduce the stress and anxiety in somebody who may not necessarily be feeling great. And for those who have been diagnosed with like states of depression or even chronic depression, citrus oils have always been the recommended oils to use to help alleviate some of those low moods and low vibrating emotions.
Yeah.
So that's what we use in and around our house, especially if we're not feeling at our greatest. Even if you just need like a little help with focus and just a little bit of a pick-me-up, because it can be full on being in one place all the time, especially if you're juggling.
Definitely.
Or, and especially if you're on your own and you haven't seen people for weeks on end. We're not singular people by nature. We like
we need to connect,
to be in amongst others. Exactly. And everybody I know must be feeling it in some way or another.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for us all to kind of do what we can do to manage, not only for ourselves, but our family, and then share this information. This is why we're doing these videos, again, because I found so much out that I felt that I knew about essential oils, but I clearly didn't. You taught me so much just from that one live, and then you sent me the follow-on information as well, which was even more helpful. And it made me feel like, okay, I need to step up my game in this, because particularly me, I suffer with certain pains. Like I suffer with really bad period pains, or I also have asthma. And I know last time in the live, you'd given me some recommended oils to use as well to alleviate or to reduce the inflammation and things like that. So maybe tell us a bit about like the physical ailments that you've used essential oils for as well.
So the great thing with the essential oils, like I keep saying, they're so multi-layered that you may use them for one thing. For instance, let's say we're using them for pain, but then then they would work in the body in another way also.
Yeah.
So, for instance, lavender. We commonly know lavender as a calming oil. It helps with sleep, and again, anxiety and rest, and stress. But on a physical level, it also helps with the skin, any kind of burns or anything like that, excess dirt or built up dandruff in the hair, it helps with that. So they're really multi-layered. And there are, like I said, there's a million, and these are plants we're talking about. This is nature's gifts. These are elemental gifts, literally. So we are using, there is everything, there's something out there that will help whatever we're going through at any given time. It's just knowing, it's just the knowing part that helps us.
Yeah, definitely.
So for instance, in terms of like inflammatory oils, you've got things like wintergreen, you've got things like another oil called copaiba, which comes from the cannabinoid tree, cannabinoid plant, but it doesn't give you that high. It helps with inflammation, and it's also very good for emotional healing. The body cannot heal if you're in a state of stress. So what will happen is whatever you're using, or let's say you're using it for pain, or let's say you've got a headache or whatever, plant-based, especially with the essential oils, but plant-based foods or whatever it may be, will always get your body to a state of balance. All your body wants to do is be at a state of balance. It wants to be at a state of balance that it can function properly. So what it will then do is help to heal and calm your body emotionally, for then the physical healing to then take part. And as we know, when we're like in a heightened state of stress, it sometimes, well, as we know, it then takes a long time for physical healing to actually take place, because you're still putting your body under state of stress. And that's with our mind, and that's with obviously with our heart as well. So when we're in an emotional, when we take plant-based, it helps us with our emotional side first, gets us into a place of balance, and then it can then start with the physical healing.
And that makes sense, because it's all interlinked. Our autoimmune system is, and every system in our body is all interlinked. So it makes a lot of sense that it is multifaceted, multi-layered, multi-purpose, so to speak, as well. So tell us a bit about the work that you do in schools, and you told us a little bit about how you use it internally and externally, different routes. Tell us a bit about some of the workshops that you do, how you educate people, because you said you're a teacher, you host a lot of workshops. So tell us a bit about the setup of I can't get my words to say. The setup of the workshops, what kind of things you teach people, and how we can get involved as well, because I know that you've got one coming up tomorrow. So shed a bit of light on that.
So one of my biggest workshops is called Empower Me, and it's one of my favorites because it's a whole family workshop where we invite parents and children to come along to learn about essential oils and plant-based medicine, the effects of them and the benefits of them. And then we do loads of experiments, and this is really geared at children, but obviously learning takes place for the children as well as the adults. And they get to learn how to the process of distilling the oil, the benefits of maybe that fruit or herb, how you can then use it, and what that does is empowers children to be able to take ownership of their own wellness.
Absolutely.
From a young age, and this workshop in particular is open to from 5 years up, because my youngest is 6. Well, when I first rolled it out, he was 5. So I geared it towards 5 years, 5 to 11. And there's loads of experiments. We do taste, we make Play-Doh, we do a lot of things with our essential oils.
And that's not.
And these are little tricks and things and tips that they can then go off and use at home.
And with the workshop,
go ahead, my love.
I know you mentioned you do in a box workshop as well, and I thought that was so nice, because particularly during this lockdown time, a lot of people have been trying to be innovative in how they can do their face-to-face workshops, and there has been a lot more online things. So Tell me a bit about that as well. I thought that was so super cool.
Yeah, so under the Empower Me series, we also do other workshops where children then can make their own products. So we're talking like perfumes, body sprays, aura sprays, creams, lip
Yeah.
balms, and nice little hands-on things, because children, they like to be able to make something and say, look, this is what I've made, out of
Yes.
what I've learned today. And one of the workshops that we was rolling out, which again comes under the Empower Me, was geared for young girls, again from the ages of 5 to 8, where they can make their own blends of perfume, where they get to learn about the benefits of certain oils, like I said before, the citrus oils coupled with things like lavender and things like that. And
Yeah.
because of the whole lockdown, we then decided to go a different direction with it. So we've then done our workshop in a box, which then
Yeah.
means
I
everything that
love
we would
it.
have done and everything that we would have done at a live workshop
Yeah.
will get sent directly to their home
Yeah.
with the instructions, the same, everything that they would have learned in a live workshop, they would get in a box. So they get to learn how to make it, the benefits of them, get to learn a little bit of the history of some well-known naturists like George Washington.
Yeah.
So we put a little bit of history in there as well, so they get to
Yeah.
learn the layers about plant-based and healing and wellness. And it's not just
Yes.
something. It's not just like a new word that's sort of floating around. This has been going on for centuries. It's things that I've been
Yeah.
doing years, for centuries and centuries. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And I like the
yeah,
fact that you're still trying to educate even during this time, because it can be really difficult to try and continue some on online or face-to-face things. And I think it's a really nice, beautiful, self-paced way that people can still have the family all included. And they are looking after themselves in a way that is healthy, it's natural, empowering. It's yeah. I hands down, I was like, yeah, I really, really love that idea. And even myself and my son, I think we're gonna have to get one and just do it for ourselves.
yeah,
It's something that just needs to be done. Self-education is really, really what's needed during.
yeah, most definitely.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. And before we wrap up as well,
Yeah, and it came off the back of end of being.
go on. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag, I think.
Sorry, I'm sorry, it's a bit delayed. Yeah, it came off the back end of, because I work full time, and then obviously there's 2 children in the house. It came off the back end of having something to do with your family, like a whole
Mm.
family, where you can actually spend time together and obviously still learn together as well.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. It's beautiful. It's a nice little family activity, and it can go anywhere, and that's the main thing. It doesn't have to be situated to just London based or just UK based. It could be something that can go anywhere. So that's really, really nice to know that people in the US or in the
Yeah,
Caribbean or in African islands
yeah,
can access it as well. So yeah, that's really, really nice to see. So well done on
yeah, definitely.
well done on that.
Thanks. Thanks.
And yeah, I was just saying, so before we wrap up as well, tell us some more about any more of the upcoming workshops you have, where people can find you, and anything new you've got coming up as well.
Right, so I do all my classes online at the moment, and before the lockdown, a lot of my classes were done online anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
we've got one class which is called Naturally Caring About How You Feel, and that basically looks at how you can support your emotional needs through the uses of essential oils. And then we'll have a look at the benefits of the essential oils and how emotions take a part on your body physically.
Mm.
Um, and how it affects your cells and how it affects your mindset and things like that. And we look at techniques called aromatic anchoring, which is a purposeful way of retraining and rewiring your brain into look down the more of the positive route instead of the negative, and conquering and anchoring new thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
So that class is done once a month. I
Mm.
have another class called The Best of Me, And because I work with children who are ADHD and autistic or have any other sort of behavioural challenge,
Yeah.
that class, the Best of Me class, is basically geared at parents to learn ways of being able to manage some of the behaviours and neurological conditions with the use
Yeah.
of essential oils and other natural solutions. So
Yeah.
that's a really important one for me, because again, I work with these children, these cohort of children,
Yeah.
and just by having my diffuser on in the classroom, I've seen, especially when they're in my classroom, and how they function for the rest of the day in and around the school. I've
Yeah.
seen a really big shift, and I've had parents come back
That's
and see
true.
that and give me that feedback as well. And
Yeah.
then lastly, I have another class which is like I call the wellness journey. Loads of people want to, like you said before, loads of people are interested in alternative ways of being able to heal themselves without
Yeah.
going down the conventional route of going to their GP.
Yeah.
And this is just another way. So it's not like an either or, and us against them. If you are looking for natural ways, you can still work, hand in hand if you are on prescribed
Yeah.
medication. But this is just basically an introduction to essential oils and how the top 10 oils can help you and your family. And the great thing about the essential oils are not just for adults and not just for older children. I've started using my essential oils on my daughter when she was 3 months old. So
Mm.
this is for the entire family, and because of their purity,
Yeah.
they are safe to use on everybody. So they're really great, and they're safe without any side effects. And then lastly, I have another workshop that will be coming out under the series of Empower Me, which is called Mummy and Me Time. And this goes back to my son sort of openly complaining that we don't spend enough time together. And then I came up with the idea of like a hand massage using a technique called aroma touch, which is a little bit like massage, but again, you use it on the palm of the hand, a little bit of massage, a little bit of reflexology.
Yeah.
And the power of touch is just basically being able to reconnect between like a mum, what I call mummy guilt, and maybe like your child, if you don't have the time to spend, if you haven't had that time to spend with your children. Another way of being able to reconnect, another way to reopen conversations,
Yeah.
and keep that connection between parent and child. Because we wear many hats, we juggle many things, we do many things,
Yes.
and sometimes that time that we spend with our children gets lost amongst all the other commitments
Yes.
that we
That's
have.
very true.
So,
That is
yeah.
very true. Oh, thank you, Nicola. And just to kind of round off with what you said all there, it is really important to keep connected with people, and it's really important to direct your own health, because I think a lot of the time you are told what to take, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I still think that if you are able to have additions that you are able to direct, it's really, really important. And it's all part of this whole wellness, wholeness, holistic, whatever you want to call it, it's all part of that same umbrella term of self-care. Yeah? It's just simple self-care and being able to
Exactly.
do it long term and
Exactly.
sustain it and spread the word about it. So yeah, I really do appreciate all your knowledge that you've brought on this topic, particularly for the Power of Seven, but even just for me, I felt like I've learned so much. And yeah, I'm going to be shouting from the rooftops about this, because yeah, it's something that's needed. So I was telling
Oh, bless you.
yeah, man, I was telling you about the Parenthood Academy Center of Excellence, and I think that your family workshops will work really well with that as well. So the Parenthood Academy Center of Excellence is it's basically a parenthood academy under the Manhood Academy Global Team, which I'm a part of, and I think that workshop, particularly where it is around healing and natural remedies, that they're all about looking into alternative medications and support systems. So that connection does need to be built 100%, and I'll make it happen somehow. um, and even
Yeah, like you were saying, it's about that empowerment, and
exactly,
it's about that empowerment and taking ownership of your own journey.
exactly, and I think particularly as parents, we need to spread the word on how best you can help individuals where possible. If that in itself is another parenting tool, and that's how I'm seeing it. In all honesty, it's another parenting tool, whether it's holistic or whatever. It's another parenting tool that should be
Exactly.
one. So yes. Any last final words before
Exactly.
up? We need to know where we can find you, Nicola. You haven't told us that.
Sorry. So yes, you can find me on Instagram under Elemental Gifts, and Gifts is spelled GISTZ. And then you can also find me at House of Lights as well, and Lights is spelled with a Z at the end. And on Facebook, you've got my personal page, which is Nicola Gordon at Elemental Gifts, or Nicola Gordon Elemental Gifts, and then my business page is Elemental Gifts. So either way, when you put in either Elemental Gifts or House of Lights, you'll find me. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, so guys, you heard it. Go and pick up a workshop, pick up a box, pick up a book, something on elemental gifts, essential oils, and I'm going to leave it there because I don't think anything more needs to be said other than, have you got your Power of 7 Ultimate Wellness Guide yet? If you haven't, then you need to go and get it because this is included. And I think if you need some recommendations on the 7 of your favorite, because even if you don't have a favorite, at least try and pick 7 that you think will be helpful to you. Ask Nicola for some help. Ask her because she's helped me, and I'm gonna be like, yep. When I get my oils, I'm gonna sleep better. I'm gonna be more pain-free, eat better. So trust me, it's worth the conversation. All right. So if you haven't got your guide and you haven't got in touch with Nicola, I encourage you to do so. So we're gonna wrap this up here. This is Rhyana from Plan Wholesome Empowerment Group, wishing you a blessed Tuesday. And have a beautiful day. Okay, Nicola, thank you so much for gracing the platform again. And I will catch up with you. We're gonna have some conversations. All right.
Indeed.
It's frozen again.
Thanks for having me. Take care, guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye.